Hi friends, welcome to the channel. My name is Rebecca Reel, and today we have another Halloween costume idea. So I know it's like too early for Halloween stuff, but the thing is, when you're a knitter, you gotta plan ahead. You know, you can't knit stuff for Halloween in October. That's crazy business. I definitely do that all the time, but I'm just saying, maybe I just want it to be colder, okay? Maybe I'm just tired of the heat and I'm ready for it to be Halloween. Even though in Arizona, Halloween, it's still in the 100 pluses, but it's closer to being cold. Today, our inspiration, Mable pines. This might be a little too neon for Mable, but this is as close as I could get. I always wanted to be Wendy, but the truth is that I am Mable, okay? And that's fantastic. Mable is full of love and happiness, and that's what I strive to be, okay? If you want to follow along with me, my pattern is in the Etsy shop, and I will be knitting this on the Brother KX350. Let's get going. So I start by using a E-wrap cast on to cast on all of the stitches that we'll need for the sweater. And then I'm going to set my tension dial to 4 and make sure my row counter is at 0. And I'm going to knit 10 rows. All right, that's 10 rows right there. And this is going to be a folded rib, so we're going to do 1 row in tension 5. And then 10 more rows in tension 4. We're going to skip 3 needles and then put the 4th all the way out. 2, 3, 3, 4. And if you have one of these guys, this one is 3. So you can kind of just boom, boom. We just push them all back. Then so now what we're going to do is we're going to continue to drop this all the way down. Make sure you don't unravel the very first loop. Put your latch hook into the little loop, make it bigger, and then make sure you go in backwards like that. Try not to split the yarn, I already did. Okay, and then we will just latch hook all the way back up. Okay, and then we just repeat that with every stitch that we dropped. So now our next step is we are going to fold over the ribbing. To do that, you kind of just pick up the loop that corresponds, place it on the needle. And you do that all the way across. Next, we're going to knit 20 rows and make sure your tension dial is back at 5 and your row counter is back at 0. Okay, now we are going to knit 4 and then decrease 1 on both sides with a fully fashioned decrease. And we're going to repeat that a total of 5 times. Now we're going to knit an additional 30 rows. Now that we've knit 30 rows, we are going to add stitch markers. I like to add stitch markers to the very first and last stitch at this step, so that later when we want to knit the shoulders and the sleeves, it's like super easy. And then we're gonna knit 37 more rows for sizes extra small through medium, or 43 more rows for sizes large through 2XL. Because I'm knitting a medium, I'm going to go ahead and put the center 15 stitches out onto hold. Okay, I'm going to change my row counter back to 0. And tension dial stays where it is. Alrighty, so we are going to knit 1. Oh, make sure you set this to hold. I might have messed up already. And all these left side ones to hold as well. Yes, I certainly did mess it up, but not too bad. 5, 6, 7. Okay, we're going to wrap our yarn and knit back. Now we put one more into hold, knit 1, wrap our yarn, knit 1. And we're just going to keep repeating this. Okay, so we repeated until our row counter read 20, which means we made a total of 10 extra stitches that we put on hold. And now I'm going to knit 2 more rows just as normal. And I only have a little bit of yarn left, so instead of cutting the yarn, I'm just going to kind of take it off of the machine and put it to the side in case I want to use it to knit the neckline. Okay, so now the rest of these go back into this position. And move our carriage over there. And now we need to take this side back into work. Okay, and now we just want to make sure that the center 15 are still on hold. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, Gotta set our row counter back to 0, and then we just repeat the same steps we did before. Okay, and now we just knit those 2 rows as normal. And now we're going to cast off the remaining collar stitches that are on hold with waste yarn. To do that, you just grab your waste yarn, set your carriage back to knit, and make sure all of these extra stitches are all the way back up. And then we are going to repeat the same steps, but with the front of our knitting. There's a slight difference. When you get to the final 37 rows, you're actually going to knit 31 instead. And on to the color work of the front of the sweater, which is like the main thing that makes it a Mable Pines inspired sweater. I've actually had a lot of questions and requests for people to see how I do my color work, so I made this section pretty long, and I created this little chart over here in the corner to help illustrate what row I'm on. I will say though, I personally don't think I'm very good at color work. It's something I need to work on. I'm better at Fair Isle than I am at Intarsia, unless the Intarsia is like big and chunky. But with this, like the little spikes of the star are really small, so it kind of made me not have the best intarsia I've ever done in my life. But yeah, this is how I do my intarsia. I kind of do a combo of stranded knitting when I can, but because of the chunks of color here, intarsia makes more sense. The only thing I would have like super changed if I could do this again is I think I carried over the yarn, the main pink yarn, too long. I think by the time I got to the wider part of the star, I should have stopped. So that's the only main thing of advice, except for not breaking my machine, which you'll see I do later, that I would give you. So while we're just hanging out and watching me knit this star, what do you guys think I should do next? Like, do you have any preferences, anything that you really want to see how I do, or something you really want to see me make? Right now, I'm also working on kind of a shorter project. Again, it has color work. I'm improving on that. I'm trying to improve. But I'm really liking how it's turning out so far. I'm literally like a third of the way into it, not very far. But it's a hood, and I never do accessories, so I thought that this would be a fun little maybe Christmas gift idea or something. Yeah, anyways, let me know what kind of stuff you guys would like to see in the future. god. So yeah, I ended up destroying one of my needles. Thankfully, I just ended up taking one off of the side of my machine. I have spares somewhere, not sure where they are, but yep, we just kept on going. And now the next step is we are going to work on the neck shaping. The difference between this and the back side is just the number of stitches we're going to put on hold in the center of our panel. Instead of 15 like we did last time, we're going to be doing 11. And then that means we're also going to be increasing the number of rows that we work so that we end up with the same amount of stitches on our shoulders and on our neckline. So we're going to repeat this pattern 12 times. And then we knit 4 rows as normal. And then we just repeated the same on the left side, and we cast off our shoulders, and then we're going to cast off the center with waste yarn. Place all of the stitches from the collar that we cast off with waste yarn onto the needles, making sure that the panels are wrong side facing. Then pick up 3 extra stitches from the front collar and 2 extra stitches from the back collar. Extra small through medium should have 75 stitches on your needles. Large through 2XL should have 79. Then set your tension dial to 4 and knit 30 rows. Then we do our standard technique of ribbing. We're going to drop our stitches, knit them back up, and then fold over and cast off, just as normal. Okay, so we knit 30 rows for the collar, and then we turned it into ribbing and folded it over onto our needles. Normally at this point I would use this nylon cord and cast off, but I've noticed that sometimes this irritates my neck and I want to be wearing this for a long time for Halloween, so I'm going to be casting off with the same yarn, but with this as well. It's like a knit, it's supposed to be knit elastic. So both techniques work, and frankly, if this doesn't bother your skin, I would recommend this because I haven't tested this yet. So I'll let you know how this works. Okay, I'd say that's pretty stretchy. Okay, I wanted to show you guys a little try-on test to see if the neckline is all it's cracked up to be. It's really important for me to have the neckline be easy to get into. I feel like it just makes the sweater like way better. Like it's one of those attention to detail things that really matters to me. Necklines, because I don't really like the boat neckline, but I also don't like necklines you can't get into. So that creates a little bit of a technical challenge. So let's try this on and see how it goes. Okay, that was pretty easy. And I think it looks way cuter with the pink bind off than with the white. Again, nobody's gonna see that other than you, but it just like kind of finishes the look. It makes it look nice. And I think adding the elastic in there didn't necessarily make it stretchier, but it made it so that it goes back to the initial shape. So the next step is we are going to go ahead and work on the sleeves. They're going to be nice and long, but they're also going to be puffy. So we're going to cast on everything in between the stitch markers, the front and the back one, and then we're going to knit for a little bit, and then after that we're going to start increasing, and then we are going to rapidly decrease to create a puffy sleeve similar to the one that Mable has.
Okay, so as you can see here, we have 67 stitches picked up on our needles, and then we are going to start knitting, making sure our row counter is back at 0 and our tension dial is back at 5. We're going to knit 30 rows just as normal. So now we're going to start working on the increase. First things first, we knit 2 rows. Okay, and then we locate stitch and needle number 10. And we're going to move all of these stitches outwards until these are empty. Start on the very edge, move them all out, 1. Okay, and then we're going to pick up the exterior stitch, the little purl bump. We're going to put that on the needle. We're going to do that on the right side now. And now, instead of doing the increases on needle number 10, we're just going to do our regular fully fashioned increases on the edge. Okay, and then we're going to just repeat that. So we're gonna end up repeating this a total of 5 times for those 2 steps. So your last row counter should be RC50. So next step, we're gonna knit 2, increase on 10s, and then we'll just keep repeating that until we get to RC equals 50.
Then we knit 74 rows, or to our desired sleeve length. Next, we're going to decrease rapidly to create that little puff. The way that I do that is every 3rd needle I decrease 1, and then I move all my stitches inward so there are no gaps, and then I knit 2 and I repeat. To get to your desired number of stitches, which is either 39 or 43 depending on your size, on the second repeat of this, just kind of count your stitches as you go and make sure you have the right amount of stitches remaining on your needles. Then we cast off with waste yarn. We immediately pick back up the stitches we cast off with waste yarn. We're going to set our row counter to 0 and our tension dial to 4, and we're going to knit 15 rows. Then we set our tension dial to 5, knit 1 row, and our tension dial back to 4, and we knit 15 rows. Then we do the standard, skip 3, drop 1, and then knit back up with our latch hook. And then we're going to fold over our ribbing and cast off, and you will be all done with your sweater. You just have to seam it back up and block it, and then that's it. And here is the final product. It it didn't like expand as much as I thought it would from the blocking, but that's okay. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I was correct about the sleeves getting a nice bit of movement, and it fits nice. I like to do a little bit of a tapered thing with my sweaters because I don't really like it when they hug my belly. So this is probably going to be my Halloween outfit. Very cute, very easy. I'm going to make one more Halloween outfit, and I will give you a hint. She's a vampire queen. So do with that what you will. And I will see you guys in a couple minutes when I review this.
Hello. Okay. Let's have a final discussion on the Mable sweater. So here she is. Post blocking, post seaming in, everything. And she's cute. And she's very like thick and sturdy, which I'm kind of surprised given the yarn, because honestly, if you can find a yarn that like is the color you want, gets you the same gauge, this yarn was a pain in my butt. It split so much, and I had to cut that out so much in the video, and I couldn't even cut all of it out because it was during important parts, like it would split. So anyways, if you can find a different yarn, I highly recommend using a different one. So I think she turned out really cute. I'm a little frustrated with how this color work turned out. I feel like it was really not my best job. And I like could have done better. I don't know how, but I've done better in the past, and it's annoying when it's like very specific one section, that's where everyone's looking, and it's like not my best work. So that's kind of a bummer. But overall, the design I'm very happy with. I'm probably going to increase the cuff slightly. It fits on my hand totally fine, but it could go out like one multiple of the ribbing pattern, if that makes sense. Like this is 35 stitches all the way around, and basically I would just need to add another multiple of, what are these? 4. So I just need to add 4. And then that could be the next size up for the ribbing. So I'll probably do that for the pattern. The pattern is like mostly done. So that should be on my Etsy really soon. So if you're interested, if you want to make this for Halloween, feel free to check out my Etsy video. Honestly, I probably gave you enough clues and like information during the video for you to be able to knit it yourself without buying the pattern, but the pattern is cool. I mean, I made it. It feels a little weird to say it's fantastic, but I think it's good. I try to put a lot of effort into making them both like enjoyable to read and kind of cute. Like I always make them look a little cute, especially this one because it's like Mable themed. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me for this journey of knitting this sweater. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you make it. If you end up making it, please tell me about it. I would love to hear. I would love to see what you make. I have a Instagram. I'm not super active on it, but if you tag me, I will definitely see. And all of my like info, my Instagram stuff is at the bottom. Feel free to follow me, send me pictures about your knits specifically. I don't want random unsolicited pictures, but I want, tag me in your knits. Anyways, have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.